is enough said.
Happy Wednesday, Heat Nation! Hump Day! Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Feeling great, you guys. Feeling positive because I woke up today, blessed by God. Now let's share that positivity by smashing that like button. Do not forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell to get all your boys' updates. And together, let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Before today's topic, you guys, gotta remind y'all, the Heat have a game tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the best team in the West, the team with the best record in the NBA. This is gonna be difficult. It's gonna be tough, and it doesn't get easier from here. After tonight's game, you have a game against the Dallas Mavericks in a couple of days. Then you have the Toronto Raptors, followed by a game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and a back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks. Guys, the Miami Heat right now are a 7th seed. Detroit has the 6th seed and are a game and a half above Miami because they're on a 3-game winning streak. This is how tight the Eastern Conference is. Now, the Heat have 31 games left. You can easily take that 6th seed. That's the goal. The goal is to get top 6 to get out of the play-in this year. We had all this crap with Jimmy Butler at the beginning of the season. For the last 2 seasons, this one included, the Heat are a play-in team. So how fitting would it be to get out of the play-in? Now, with this difficult stretch we have coming up, a game tonight against OKC, then you have another one against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Anthony Davis ain't playing with the Dallas Mavericks. Daniel Gafford is also injured as well, so that he can get the dub there. But one thing I noticed about tonight's game, you guys, Chet Holmgren isn't playing. Chet Holmgren is the OKC Thunder's amazing starting center. And he's not playing today, not because of injury, because he's out for rest. Because the Thunder have a game tomorrow as well. And I noticed that as a slap in the face. I'm like, yo, OKC, y'all really think this victory is going to be just easy for you? You're just going to get this dub against the Miami Heat? You're going to sit one of your best players out? That right there should be a challenge for the Miami Heat, to take that disrespect and turn it into a dub. Look, I'm not saying it's actual disrespect. I don't think the Thunder are looking at the Heat and like, that's an easy dub. Everybody knows the Heat's a hard team to play defensively. But you're sitting out Chet Holmgren. The Heat need to take this opportunity and get a win. It's not going to be easy. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got Jalen Williams. You got a squad over there. So it's going to be a difficult matchup even without Holmgren. But you need to get a dub, because the more that you lose, the more that this team falls back, you guys. Atlanta and Orlando are sniffing right at the cusp of getting that 7th seed. You lose this game tonight against OKC, you can fall even lower in the standings. So the Heat need to shock the world. You need a big game from Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. are questionable with their illness. Hopefully they play tonight because we need them. We need Andrew Wiggins to show that he's better than what he showed in his first game, which I know he is. Kel'el Ware's got to dominate in the paint, especially with Holmgren not playing. You need big games from Nikola Jovic. Terry Rozier has got to know where the net of the basket is. Stop hitting the rim. But we need a big game from everyone, you guys. All hands on deck tonight. But one thing that we're noticing, you guys, is this team still needs help. This team still needs assistance. Now, whether that's in the buyout market, which I think the Heat will be players in because they are under the first apron line, so they're able to sign anybody in the buyout. But we know that this team currently constructed will most likely not win the 2025 NBA championship. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just, calling a spade a spade. It's going to be difficult for the Heat to win a championship. Now, I do feel that the Heat can make the playoffs. I do feel that the Heat can maybe surprise a few people, win the 1st seed and get to the 2nd seed. We can be one of those surprise teams. But after this season, now that we've got our finances in order, after this season begins the youth movement build, I feel. This is where you're going to see players get signed, drafted, that can help this Miami Heat team now. And one thing I have not really touched on, one thing I haven't really spoken on, you guys, is the draft pick that the Miami Heat acquired from the Golden State Warriors. So that's what we're talking about today. Now, just a little recap. In the Jimmy Butler trade, the Miami Heat did get Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson. They also got Davion Mitchell after they flipped him for PJ Tucker to Toronto. but they also got the Golden State Warriors 2025 first round draft pick. Now, that pick is top 10 protected. So just to give you guys a little insight on what that means, top 10 protected means that if Golden State ends up having a bad season and they fall with one of the worst records in the NBA, top 10, which means they'll fall anywhere from 30 to 20. If they get one of those bottom 10 seeds, they keep their draft pick. But if Golden State get above the top 10, which means if they have, let's say there's 10 teams with a worse record than them and they have the 11th worst record in the NBA, that pick comes to the Miami Heat. So in order for Golden State to keep their draft pick this year, they have to have one of the 10 worst records in the NBA. If they don't, that pick goes to Miami. Now, some of us may wonder, well, that means Golden State has to make the playoffs for the Heat to get the pick. No. 16 teams make the playoffs. 14 teams do not. So if Golden State end up not making the playoffs, but still have a record that's like the 11th or 12th worst in the NBA, then the Miami Heat get that pick. So there's a possibility, you guys, where the Golden State Warriors don't make the playoffs and the Miami Heat get their draft pick. How hilarious would that be? Now, right now, the Golden State Warriors are the 10th seed in the Western Conference. They're a play-in team. They're fighting to get in the playoffs. So there's a possibility, you guys, where, like I mentioned, the Heat get their draft pick and Golden State doesn't make the playoffs. That would be hilarious because of all the drama that Jimmy Butler put us through this year. For that to happen would be incredibly sweet. Now, one thing I want to educate you guys on is the Miami Heat's 2025 draft pick. Now, that is currently going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the reason why the Heat are having their pick sent to OKC is because their pick is lottery protected. So what that means is if the Miami Heat make the playoffs, then their pick goes to Oklahoma. If the Miami Heat do not make the playoffs, then the Heat keep their pick for the 2025 draft, but their 2026 draft pick goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder and becomes unprotected. So that means no matter how the Miami Heat play next season, their pick goes to OKC. So that's why you want to make the playoffs this year. Fine, Oklahoma gets our draft pick if we make the playoffs, but we keep our 2026 draft pick fully protected. And the Heat got a 2025 draft pick from OKC. From Golden State. I'll be honest with you guys. I think Golden State at least makes the play-in tournament. At least. So that means the Heat will get their draft pick. If the Golden State stay where they're at right now, if Golden State stay as the 10th seed and go to the play-in, then the Heat keep their pick. No matter what happens, the Heat get that pick. Now, right now, you guys, that pick can be anywhere from pick 11 to maybe pick 15, 16, 17, 18. So it'll fall anywhere between those lines. It'll fall anywhere from pick 11 to pick 18, something like that. Now, that doesn't worry me at all because this Miami Heat team has hit home runs picking at that level lately. Bam Adebayo was picked in the 2017 NBA draft at pick 13. Tyler Hero was drafted in 2019 as the 14th pick. Jaime Jaquez was drafted in the 2023 draft as the 18th pick. And Kel'el Ware, who was picked in this past draft in 2024, was pick 15. All of these four guys have been great picks for the Heat. Even the Heat picking later in 2022, their late first round draft pick when they picked up Nikola Jovic. Right there, you guys, it shows you that this Miami Heat developmental system is one of the very best in the NBA. Now, as of today, I saw a post from ESPN a few hours ago. ESPN has predicted that the Miami Heat will get the 18th pick in the draft. And that pick would be from Golden State, as I just mentioned. So let's say, hypothetically, the Heat are picking 18th. Now, ESPN has the Miami Heat drafting Colin Murray-Boyles. He's a power forward / center. I don't think that's the right pick for the Heat. We're noticing one thing. I'll tell you guys right now. For this season and for 2026 next year, we know guaranteed what 4 players are going to be in the starting lineup. You know, Kel'el Ware is going to start at center. Bam's going to start at the 4. Wiggins will start at the 3. Tyler Hero's going to start either at the starting point guard or starting shooting guard. So most likely the starting shooting guard. So that leaves a door open for the starting point guard. I've mentioned so many times before, and I'll continue to say it. Davion Mitchell, for the rest of this season, should start at point guard. I think he's exactly what this Miami Heat team needs. What do you need for your starting point guard? Not for any team, but for this specific Miami Heat team. Look at these players I just mentioned. Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and Andrew Wiggins. These are 4 guys that can score. These are four guys that are very great players. Bam and Kel'el Ware can dominate the paint. Wiggins is a two-way player, and Tyler Hero is a bucket getter. So what you need as the point guard, the starting point guard, is a guy that can facilitate for these 4 players, who's defensive-minded first, and that can hit the three-point shot consistently. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Davion Mitchell. He may not have shown it his first game, but you saw flashes of it. But I think what the Miami Heat need to focus on with their first-round draft pick is getting a point guard. Because you already have people in the bench that can help out. You already have a solid bench. You have Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Terry Rozier. As much as some of us may not like Terry Rozier at times, we know that he's a bucket getter. These 4 players coming off the bench is a great lineup. Now, you can trade Terry Rozier. That's what I think the Miami Heat are going to try to do this offseason. After this year, Terry Rozier will be on an expiring contract. So look for the Miami Heat to possibly move his contract for cap relief or another player that's on an expiring contract. The Heat may have to attach Terry Rozier with a future draft pick just to get him the hell out of here. But if you're able to get Terry Rozier off this team, not only are you freeing up cap space for yourself, but now you're really pushing for this youth movement. Because if you draft another point guard with Davion Mitchell, now you have your 2 point guards for the future. Either of these point guards can start or come off the bench for each other. I think it's the perfect idea. So I don't think Colin Mary Boyles is the right pick. There's 2 point guards that I'm looking at that I want to talk about today, you guys. Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma and Nolan Traore from France. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly. I'm not good with these, names. But Nolan Traore, I believe that's how you pronounce it. If you guys can help me in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. We're going to start with Jeremiah Fears because Jeremiah Fears is a draft pick that I don't think the Heat are really going to be able to get if they're picking at 18th. But you could always trade up. That's a possibility as well. Jeremiah Fears right now is projected to go top 10. This 2025 draft, you guys, it's a loaded draft class. So the Heat can really excel in this draft. But Jeremiah Fears is a freshman with Oklahoma, averaging 28.5 minutes a game. He's averaging 15.5 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals a game. He is a defensive juggernaut. This guy locks down players. He's also averaging 45% from the field, 84% from the free throw line. Now look, he's averaging 26% for threes. He's not known being an elite shooter. He takes about 3.5 3-point attempts a game, makes 1. So he's not really known as a 3-point shooter, but he's quick, he plays great defense, and he facilitates and scores. This is a guy that can be very beneficial. Now, the chances of the Miami Heat getting him, very limited because you have to possibly trade up. But let's say Golden State has not such a great season. They make the 10th seed. They don't make the playoffs. And now you're maybe getting the 11th, 12th, or 13th pick. Now you might have a shot to get Jeremiah Fears. Now, let's say you can't get Jeremiah Fears. Now, there's also Trey Johnson. He's a 6'6" shooting guard / point guard, about 195 pounds. He averages about 20 points a game, but he plays more of Tyler Hero's game. What did I just say, you guys? You need a different type of point guard on this team. You don't need another Terry Rozier. You need a guy who's a pass-first point guard. I think the perfect point guard on this team, you guys, is Kyle Lowry 7 years ago. Perfect addition. A point guard that is a pass-first point guard. He defends amazing and can hit the 3-point shot. That is the perfect point guard on this team. So that is exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you already have it in Isaiah Stevens. Maybe Davion Mitchell can take that next step. But in this draft, you guys, in my opinion, I think we need to look at the point guard of the future. Now, Nolan Traore from France, you guys, he's a second-year player. He's really boosted up his numbers on his second year. He averages about 21.8 minutes a game, 10.6 points a game, 5.2 assists, almost 2 rebounds a game, 0.7 steals, 0.7 blocks a game. He averages about 27% from the three-point line, not really the best, 70% from the free throw line, and 36% from the field. Not the best, but this guy is quick on his feet. He passes, he facilitates for other players, and he can score at will. And I mean, 27% isn't really horrible at the three-point line. You can develop it, you can get better. So in my opinion, you guys, unless a player drops significantly that can help come off your bench and be that six-man presence, I think the Miami Heat really need to look at a point guard this draft, because you have players already that are coming off your bench that can be potential six-man players. Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, even Terry Rozier if he stays. These are all players that any given night can be your leading man off the bench. What you need is point guard presence. You need a captain. You need a facilitator. You need a guy that's quick and that can hit threes and defends like an animal. I think that's either Jeremiah Fears or Nolan Traore. Maybe there's another player. Now, we're going to be continuing to talk about this as the months and the weeks go by, you guys. The draft isn't until June, but it's exciting to talk about. But the main reason why I cut this video was because I wanted to explain to you guys how the Miami Heat's 2025 draft is looking. So let me know in the comments your thoughts, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said. I gotta say, these are my favorite Miami Heat jerseys. Yeah, buddy.